Well, Nashville is known as the new It City for many reasons, not the least of which is the fabulous food. A new cookbook, Nashville Eats, celebrates more than 100 of Music City's best recipes, and the author Jennifer Justus is here to share one of those with us today. It looks so good, too. It's spicy honeyed greens, and smelling the bacon and onions cooking right now, my mouth is watering already, Jennifer. This looks great.
Great. Well, let's get the spice in there.
Okay, let's do. We've already got some bacon cooking, some onions, and we're ready to get going. Oh, what'd you put in there?
That's just red pepper flake. So we just let that open up a little bit.
Okay.
And then we're going to begin to add our greens. So we'll put these in batches, and I'll just put a handful in, and then I'll add our chicken stock.
Okay. And you're using collard greens for this particular recipe.
Right.
But you could use another kind if you prefer.
Yes, I like collards the best, but turnip greens would be great. Kale, as we talked about, would be good.
Now, when you're preparing the greens, if you're getting them at the farmer's market and you're getting them in bunches, what do you need to do to get them ready?
Well, what I do is I just take a knife and run it right along this rib to remove that tougher section. You can eat that, but it just takes longer for it to get soft.
Right.
Or, you know, so if you don't want to use this part, which I don't, you can put it in your compost, or you can, I hear chickens and goats enjoy that.
If you happen to have those at your house. A lot of people do have chickens these days.
So we just let those cook down.
A little bit at a time. Okay.
I'll just continue to add them. And you might need to add a little water to this, but I think that this particular bunch of greens wasn't that big, so we'll have enough water as it cooks down with that stock.
One thing about getting greens fresh from the farm too is that you've got to be sure you get all the grit and dirt out of them. You know, so do you wash them twice before you?
Yes, I washed these 3 times. Because they seemed pretty
gritty.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we just wash them, you know, change the water out.
Right. Okay. Do you put a cover on this to cook?
You know, I don't. You can, but I don't. I just let it cook down, and then we'll go ahead and season it with some salt.
All right. And you like kosher salt for this? Okay.
And then we'll do some vinegar.
Is that apple cider vinegar?
Apple cider vinegar, just a couple of tablespoons.
Okay. And the honey's an interesting addition.
Yeah.
You don't see that in a lot of greens recipes.
I love the hot and the sweet combination.
Yeah.
And my dad and I actually worked on these greens together. He's a big fan of collard greens. So.
That sounds like a great idea. What are some of the other recipes that you really like in this book?
Well, there's a hot chicken. It's a whole roasted hot chicken over potatoes and fennel and red onion and a cast iron skillet. And I really like that recipe. I love the tomato pie version that's in there. There's an Olive and Sinclair double chocolate pound cake. That I think is great.
That sounds terrific.
So
you created a lot of the recipes in the book yourself, but you relied on a lot of Nashville's best chefs too to give you inspiration too.
And when I did go to chefs like Tandy Wilson of City House, I said, please give me something that will be simple for the home cook, that's not something you would necessarily have in your restaurant. And they were really great about that. So there's a recipe from Pat Martin of Martin's Barbecue for some grilled pork chops with a peach chutney that he makes at home for his family. So.
Oh, that's great. So just Nashville from the heart with love in this Nashville Eats cookbook. I think you're really going to love it. This recipe looks terrific too. It's online right now. It's recipe number 5431. It's in the Talk of the Town recipes page at newschannel5.com. You can meet Jennifer tomorrow at her book release party. It's at Family Wash in East Nashville. She's also going to be at the Vanderbilt Barnes & Noble on Wednesday, and then Saturday at the Southern Festival of Books. You can go to her website to find out all the information, and that's linked to our website at newschannel5.com. Jennifer, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.